These images of Israel, the new embassy in Jerusalem, clearly there's only going to be a few staff there for the moment, and people are saying it's symbolic, but it's more than symbolic, isn't it, Ian? It's
been a fantastic week for Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. On the one hand, you have the Iran deal getting ripped up after he sort of finally tried to spike it by saying the Iranians lied about their nuclear program before the deal hit. Secondly, you have the Israelis with unprecedented violence, really more than we've seen since 1973, the Yom Kippur War against Iranian forces across Syria, responding to some rockets that they sent into the Golan Heights, Israeli-occupied territories. And now, finally, Jared Kushner, Ivanka Trump there in Jerusalem, marking the opening of the American embassy. It's something that all Israelis are enormously happy to see. They've wanted it for a very long time. The U.S. joins, I think only Guatemala and Honduras in the world have said they're willing to do that. So, I mean, American allies, none of them support this move, but the Israelis really want it. So Netanyahu had been besieged by corruption investigations around himself, his inner circle. It's been a really bad number of months for him. This is the best week he's had in office, and he's delighted to see all this happening.
I suppose the big question is, how does Iran respond to this now? Does it respond?
No. I mean, the Iranians understand that they don't want a war with Israel. They first want to see if they can actually get a consistent support from the Europeans to do business in Iran. They do 100 times more business in Iran than American companies do. So the U.S. putting sanctions on only matter if the Europeans then follow through. Otherwise, they will stick with the terms of the deal. That will eventually break apart. When it does, the hardliners get stronger. Then we see if we move towards confrontation. But today, the other story that, of course, we need to pay attention to is 41 Palestinians so far shot dead, over 1,000 injured in Gaza. At the same time that we're seeing this celebration in Israel, something that they've wanted for such a long time, showing the capital of Israel is Jerusalem, the perspective of America. You have Palestinians throwing themselves against the wall, lethal force used against them.
And promises of weeks-long protest, if not more. Does this degenerate even further, Ian?
You know, it may, but I'm not sure it matters. I mean, you know, the fact that you can have this kind of celebration in Israel while we have the kind of violence we do on the Gaza border proves something very significant, which is that the ability of the Israelis to build very effective walls, keeping other people out, is strong. Trump has said it very consistently. He said, walls work. He said, you want to see where they work? Watch Israel. Watch them today. That not only do they have a wall in Gaza, they have 3 cement factories along the border, and they're building a wall underneath the ground with sensors to stop all the tunneling. They have the Iron Dome that the Americans helped them with that stops Hezbollah missiles from coming in. They no longer need Palestinian labor. If you go to Tel Aviv, that's extreme vetting. I've been on those flights. You're not going to be allowed unless you are who you say you are, doing what you say you're going to do. That, you know, the fact is that today, the Palestinians really have almost no sympathy, either in Israel or around the world, because the cause no longer matters to anybody.